Welcome to the Create with Katrina Julia show by Fit Life Creation, where we talk all the things on wellness, faith, marketing, business, and travel to create a life and business you love. I've been there, friend. I've walked from fear to faith, self-hate to love, corporate to calling, and bondage to freedom, along with transformation in every area of my life. I'm right here with you, walking along on my own path to creating. So tune in so that you learn how to create a life and business you love, hands-on. Let's create it. So if you loved the last episode on financials, on forecasting and pitch decks, you are going to love this one, because part of this show, you guys, as we create it like a boss, also helps hold me accountable, not only to myself, but to you. And one of my goals this month is to share 30 plus episodes on the show. So just like I've had goals in the past to do 30 plus Instagram reels in a month, and typically I end up at about 20-ish per month, this is one of my goals this month, to accelerate with the podcast. And I've been part of a podcast summit this month and so much more. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So after the last episode, wanted to update you on what has happened and the actions I took to create it like a boss, and some that may inspire you as well as an entrepreneur. So I already emailed. So I went to yoga class. Actually, let me back up. After I filmed the last episode, I went to yoga and took some wusa time, and then took action to create it like a boss on several different items after I got back. So lots of clarity, lots of clearing, new divine downloads, and then focused in on clearing and taking action on all the things from the last episode. So I emailed Techstars on being a partner. I mentioned to Graham and Walker in the survey on ways to partner. I submitted the HubSpot startup form, so that was done. I submitted the form on Startup Slack, and I'll also be exploring, mystartupstack.com. Slack is obviously stuck in my brain for whatever reason. And I will be exploring some of the tech and the tools they have as well, because I had not found them in the past. And speaking of, what just popped in my head is a platform I've been a part of, Hello Alice, to also reach out to them. So that'll be on my next list. Speaking of financials and forecasting, I downloaded an amazing template from Forecastr. So another shout out to Forecastr on their marketplace template. And it goes through an overview with what I really, really liked about it that is different than Live Plan is it goes into customer acquisition and helps you forecast on customer acquisition. So on Live Plan, you end up writing out the ways that you're doing customer acquisition. So I definitely had that honed in on, but in Live Plan, they don't have a Forecastr tool for customer acquisition. So this was super duper duper helpful. So in the last episode, I dived into the different methods of customer acquisition that I'm using and that I'm growing and that I'm creating and scaling. But in this particular model that you can find on their website, and it's spelled Forecastr. Let me make sure I give it to you correctly, because I don't want to misspell it, because I know it's www.forecastr.co. So it's not spelled the way that you would normally think of Forecastr. So I wanted to make sure and spell it out. So you will find under their financial model templates, the marketplace template or other templates that may align. And so I loved building out so this is my, whatever the brain side is, left brain, right brain, that's the analytical. So I'm very, very creative, but I'm very, very analytical. And people think when they meet me, depending on how they meet me, they sometimes think that, oh, she's an extrovert and she loves to be on. If they meet me when I'm presenting or at a live event or, hosting a retreat or a workshop, or interacting, with like-minded community, in different ways. People tend to think that about me. And while that's true to some degree, I actually have a lot of introverted tendencies, and I love my alone time, and I love pouring in self-love and self-care and reflecting. And I also love analytics. So some of you may or may not know, I'm also an MBA and CPA, and talked a lot about my experiences in different industries in the last episode. And part of that is, I've worked on business plans and different things, since 2005 using an amazing tool called Live Plan for years. And then have also sat on boards and have also helped other companies set up business plans and creators to CEOs. And that's some of what is included in my Create It Monthly, as well as my summit and mastermind, and as well as in my upcoming Create It Creator to CEO mastermind, where you will learn a lot more in June and July. And so things like this, like using templates to run analytics and setting up forecasts for financials to write a vision down and make it plain, also excite me and geek me out. And as I'm recording this, it's 12:45 a.m. East Coast time, and I'm completely wired and excited and aligned and in flow. And I felt divinely inspired to take this inspired action to share with you guys as I was wrapping up this segment and what's next into tomorrow morning, and then what's coming up on the show. So speaking of the marketplace template, and as you go into customer acquisition, and this is so, so important, you guys, for any founder, or creator to CEO to know. And I'm definitely going to note this on the episode, talking about, where are you getting your customers? So I'm mulling over the title in my brain right now to really attract attention. So in the template, so whether you do the template or not, which I heavily, heavily, heavily recommend you do to create it like a boss, I'm still going to talk you through some of the avenues so for example, organic / word of mouth, you plug in your web traffic. And in the template, it gives you an estimate conversion rate, and then it automatically will populate your estimated new customers for, the next year into next several years, because it's building the financial forecast for you. Then another customer acquisition avenue I have is networks, and that's some of the action that I just took on those networks that I mentioned. And there's more coming up. And, the number of leads, I estimated the average value and then the average conversion rate. And then again, the model then automatically spits out estimated customers. Then partners. So partners can be like co-launch partners, affiliate partners, etc. So same thing, new estimated monthly leads per partner, conversions. And then again, the model auto populates, because you're only populating the things I'm highlighting, and then the rest is done automatically. Then conferences attended and estimated leads per conference. Then influencers, and I plugged in, for example, number of influencers, monthly posts per influencer, then estimated leads per post, and then the estimated conversion. And from there, the model estimates new customers per month. Then word of mouth, which can be obviously in person, people sharing, on social, it can be at events, etc. Speaking of events, monthly events that I'm getting ready to set up with Create It Like a Boss in Atlanta, both online and live, virtually via different avenues like meetups, Eventbrite, and pre-recorded content, restreamed, and Zooms. and then live events via Atlanta, and then testing virtually Nashville and Miami, and then determining which one I will be doing next live, and then scaling those with team members. Then monthly leads with events and conversions, and then email marketing. So my email list is currently over 1,000. Please, 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 if you have not gone to subscribe on my email list via the link in bio, the subscription to opt in to the newsletter is either A, if you opt into any of the things like the free marketing quiz, influencer marketing like a boss, or directly via the link in bio. The opt-in is at the very bottom too, to make it quick and easy. So you can please, please, please do that. So then average numbers of emails sent a month. I'm sending an average of about 12 now a month. I've definitely accelerated those, and we get open rates anywhere from 30 to 80%. And but I still estimated response rates at 10%, and then conversion rates at about 5%, just to set. I love to kind of see what analytics are doing, but then also exceed expectations rather than, say, oh, we're going to convert at 50% and then it's going to be at 30%. And then again, so many times conversions or sales or different things come in so many different avenues in any business, but it's key to know that you have these different pillars moving. Then content marketing. So content marketing is, I'm doing easily over 8+ new pieces of content a week, if not a month, because I put in 8 to be conservative, but just simply from the show, I'm doing like 3 to 5 shows per week, if not more. Then and obviously with the goal, that's 7 per week, right? And this week, I'm definitely already exceeded it. Then Instagram, social media posts. Wait, is that a separate one? Nope. So Instagram social media posts, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. And I'm using a repurposing tool that's literally 10x, 20xing all my content from Instagram to all the channels, from YouTube to all the channels, from TikTok to all the channels, etc., from the show to all the channels. So it's crazy, but I still just put in 8 to keep it simple, and then new leads per piece of content, and then the estimated conversion rate, and then the model is estimating then customers for that. Then the IO tools I'm using, like Apollo.io, for example, the estimated leads per month of 1,200, and then the sales cycle of 2 months, and then the conversion rate of 20%, which is equating to about an estimate of 400-ish customers per month. And that's not including, you guys, Flow Chat, which I'm about to do an informational this Thursday and next week as well on inputting leads from various social media channels directly into emails and CRM and email sequences and so on and so forth. So from that then gave me estimates on customers with an estimated churn rate, and baked in an average of about 15-ish thousand per month based on the spread that I was putting in. But then I went back into a couple things that I'm going to share here. So then I went back into Live Plan to look at the revenue goals across brands management, which includes CMO and influencer management. Oh, and actually brands includes brand deals and sponsors for events and online courses and our retreats, etc. Then the management piece includes chief marketing officer services, as well as influencer management, so the agency side. Then lifestyle includes the high-end mastermind that I'm launching June, July-ish for 6 months to a year at a time. And then NFTs and the community and society that I'll be launching, that's going to align everything that I have within Fit Life Creation and Create It Like a Boss, from the brand side, the management side, the lifestyle side, the created the online courses and the events with the NFTs, depending on the aligned NFT purchases. Because if you don't know, with the NFT side, a lot of what's driving it with creators like Gary Vee and others, and Robin Arzon with Peloton, is communities or my BFF. So that is on the rise astronomically with NFTs. And I've already created over 100+ designs and completely outlined that. And more on that is coming in July, August. And actually, you can see on my podcast the new artwork that was just released. That is actually created by me using AI. So that's a glimpse of what the NFTs are going to look like. So I'm super, super, super excited about that. And that's actually going to be one of the NFTs as well. And then let me go back to the note, then estimated the online components and the events on the revenue going from year 1 into year 6, applying a lot of what Stephen and Jeff shared on the Forecastr segment in the Graham and Walker and AWS fundraising lab, and everything that I learned, and applying different things with the financials, and really, really seeing how things are possible with tech and with teams, and also helping align priorities and where I am aligning my time astronomically. And then I went into looking at speaking of resources and what it's going to cost across people, biz dev, meaning business development, tech, and teams, and how that's going to be rolled out step by step. And next, which is what I'm going to finish tomorrow, is finishing up the direct costs. So the pieces I just mentioned above, and making sure they make sense from an analytical, financial, and margin component. Then updating the pitch, like what I talked about in the last episode. So if you're curious about pitch tips, definitely go back to that. Then I will finish up doing my outreach to a tool called Carta that really helps with capital indexing and CapEx tables, and setting up your startup from inception to funding, and just tracking everything. It's almost like a pipeline for founders if you are looking to scale with investors. And I'm reaching out to them to basically partner with their perks for founders and list out all of our resources, and then also explore their tool to see, how I can leverage and use it if and when I choose to scale and accept investor funding. And then I'm also going to email Forecastr, Stephen, and Jeff once we get the follow-up from the Graham and Walker team. And then I will be setting up the FXS deals. And some of that may go into Friday and or Saturday. And then I'm scaling the outreach for the accelerators, because I found on the accelerator side, I found like over 50-ish accelerators. So I'll be scaling that to my VAs and or an easy email sequence that I'll create. But likely I'll scale it to my VAs to say, hey, reach out to these startup lists, send this specific quick message, and boom, done. And or I may use Apollo.io. So I'm kind of piggybacking between the two. I likely may do that because that'll be really easy for me to scale on Apollo.io and then scale it to my VAs the same way I'm doing with private equity and NFTs as well. I talked about that in a recent episode, I think 2 or 3 episodes before this one. Then I will be making a list of investor questions. And then this was the podcast episode that I promised myself I would do. I just moved it up to make it easier for myself for tomorrow. So that is what's happening with what just happened with the last episode. Now, what is coming up next on the show, just so you know, is I'm going to be sharing over 6+ new tools that I am using to create it like a boss, that are new for me within the last month, that literally are saving me, you guys, over 15 to 25 hours a week, and accelerating progress astronomically, and have helped me adjust the tasks that my VAs were doing, and scaling that back. from like they were doing several things on social media, but now repurpose.io has taken over some of those things, or Opus Clip. And now they're focused on 7 different areas, which are heavily focused on business. And then I'm going to be scaling Apollo.io with them next. So that's coming up on the show next. I already posted about it on Instagram. So you can take a look at Katrina Julia Fit. If you don't follow me yet, definitely follow me and comment on the post. And so I can show you some love. Speaking of, leave a review on the show so more people know about the show so they can create it like a boss. And then after that, I am going to be sharing even more on my influencer marketing like a boss current launch that's going on that you can definitely learn about if you subscribe to the newsletter. So because I've already sent out 2 emails about that, and I'll be sharing more about that tomorrow, as well as Friday, Saturday, Monday. And excitingly, I am going to be sharing on 5 steps to launch using AI and IO and so much more juiciness with B2B to C strategy, business to business to consumer, and how I create and scale, and some of the things that are included in my Create It Monthly versus my fractional CMO program versus influencer management, etc. And depending on what you may want to align to. But if you have been looking to build your brand with influencers, you definitely want to jump in my free webinar that's at the link in bio. You can head on over there and build your brand with influencers and take a peek at the free webinar and the 5 steps that I outline for free for you to take a peek. So my goal, which leads me to wrapping up this episode, so that's what's coming up, just so you know what's coming up on the show and the series. But then as I was wrapping up the financials, I went back to my scorecard that I keep. So I keep a dashboard in ClickUp where I track launches and I track pipeline through the CRM. So I keep a dashboard on ClickUp that has business to business pitches, that has estimates on launches and breakdowns. But at a glance, I keep a beautifully designed pink, blue, and green spreadsheet that I created with monthly alignments according to areas in Google Docs, in spreadsheets. Because I love colors, I love branding, I love themes. And in ClickUp, I tried to do this, but some of the templates, and I've been using ClickUp for a while, and I'm also part of their VIP team. And I've asked if there's a template that would do something like this, and I haven't yet gotten traction on it. So in the meantime, I'm doing this, and I love my scorecard. Speaking of, my dashboards and my scorecards are things that you get to learn if you end up co-creating or creating with me in my high-end mastermind that's going to be coming up, as well as in you will get glimpses of it and or the templates at different levels within my Create It Monthly and or my CMO or influencer management programs as well. So there's that. And it may be a segment or a session on Create It Monthly, because that's, all the different ways that I love to create it like a boss. So speaking of goals and speaking of May, and then as I dove into the scorecard from what I evaluated and my priorities and some of what I talked about in the last episode. So I actually adjusted to focus on 31 new brands / community members. And then specifically, since I'm talking about the influencer Build Your Brand with Influencers course, my goal on there is, on the low end, $3,000, which means about 10 people. On the mid-range, 7,000, which is about 25 people. And on the high range is 100 people, which would mean a $30,000 launch. Okay. So far, just so you know where I'm at, the highest I have made as an entrepreneur is $8,000 in a month. So this alone would blow that out of the water. So I'm right there with you, creating it like a boss. And then the other ways that I'm stretching myself that I talked about in the last episode is, and I adjusted some of this since then. Actually, no, I kept it the same, I think. So, yes, I did. So, the CMO, the fractional CMO, so two new potential CMO slash management clients. So, that would mean, helping out a brand and or a creator to a CEO literally run their business, as a fractional CMO and help them with business to consumer strategy with all the things that I'm doing as well. And, with the dashboard, with using Apollo, with, implementing and creating and scaling business to business and consumer strategies, a lot of, the tools and the tech that I talk about. So two new. And as far as aligned inspired action, I have included the CMO features in the influencer course emails. And they're listed on my link in bio. And that is part of the outreach that is coming further on Apollo.io this month as well. Speaking of, I have a goal of two brand clients for about $33,000 to create and receive this month. And I have reached out to over 100 brands on Apollo.io already this month within the last week. And about to scale that to my VA. So the system is set up. It's working. I've created the email sequence that is being scaled next within the next 3 days. So that'll free up my time there. And there was something else I was going to mention. Oh, and I've already seen some clear evidence of that. Like, for example, today I got a brand reach out to me directly that actually would be potentially done in the next week or less, that also wants to use my videos for ads and wanted usage rights for 90 days. And I negotiated a bundle and the usage rights for $7,000. And they shared up front that that they are looking for long-term creators ongoing on a monthly basis. And this brand is really, really, really aligned for several reasons. So I was super excited to get this in my email today. So that is already in the works, and several other responses that have happened. Then I have still a goal of 2 retreat clients to align 2 retreats and to get payments in full for those. And I had an amazing call. One, the retreat is set up on Book Retreats right now, but I've been looking for other partners and platforms and different things. And today alone, I got an email from a creator that focuses on selling out retreats, that she simply wants a testimonial from me. So that's in the works. And then I had an incredible call today with a platform called Tour Hero that also came to me about a month ago. They found me on Instagram, and between just timing and scheduling, I rescheduled them 3 times in advance, at least a day in advance. Like twice it didn't align with timing, and I had a conflict and just alignment and flow. And then last week I didn't feel well, and so I rescheduled it. And then today we finally connected with Yeshua, and he was amazing. He's from Colombia. And so if you are curious about retreats, and listing your retreats on different avenues, I definitely recommend you check out Tour Hero. I will be sharing about them a lot more in upcoming episodes as I firm up the retreat, as I firm up the launches for that, the dates. Likely it'll be, with everything going on, it'll be soft here and there, but then it'll get more focused probably circa June, July, August, as I mentioned the retreat and upgrades for the different things that I will be sharing and creating with community. And so had a call with that, and the alignment that I just mentioned with the lady that connected with me on Facebook. And yeah, so there you have it. That is a goal of a total of 31 brands slash creators to CEOs to be impacted and influenced, and a goal of $78,000. So you heard what I shared on the maximum that I've reached in the past. And so I'm literally 10xing it. So don't think at all that I'm not right there with you, creating it. And in the midst of chaos, circumstances, challenges, packing up my apartment, putting stuff, donating stuff again, putting stuff in storage, watching my friend's house for 2 months as she goes to Bolivia and watching her beautiful puppies, then either traveling next and or getting a place in Midtown on Hello Landing, hashtag lifing, hashtag adulting. So right there with you, friends. Right there with you, friends. And I'll be sharing a lot more on likely the chaos and the circumstances as things unfold and develop, because I'm not ready yet to fully share that because a lot of it is cray cray. But there you have it. So that is how I have adjusted into targets. And you can see how there's a lot of aligned action. And as always, friends, remember, create, transform, and inspire because you are born to. I am so excited and honored to partner with Spotify for podcasters. Ever since I connected with Spotify for podcasters, I feel like having options like video podcasts and Q&A and polls has helped me be creative on a whole new level. And if you didn't know, I want to thank all of you for listening because last year we reached top 100 in marketing. And some of the ways this was able to happen is because of the ability to have distribution on platforms like iTunes, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and more. Basically, everywhere and anywhere podcasts are in the world. I highly recommend you record your show on Spotify for podcasters. You can download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. If you want to make a podcast, Spotify's got this incredible platform to help you make one super easily and distribute it everywhere and anywhere and even earn money all in one place for free. Yes, for free with Spotify for podcasters. And here is how it works at a glance. You can record and edit your podcast and your shows right from your phone or your computer. So, no matter what your setup is like, you get to start creating it today, or like I like to say, hashtag create it. Then you get to distribute it to Spotify and everywhere and anywhere podcasts are heard in the world. Video podcasts are also available. Plus, make sure you check out the different features that I mentioned earlier to get your fans, your friends, and your besties engaging in your show, like the Q&A and the polls to get people talking. And one tip, I've extended several of my podcasts out to the end of the year because that way you get people a chance to connect and create it. So, share with me if you record your first and or your next show with Spotify for podcasters. I would love to know. Tag me at Katrina Julia Fit at Fit Life Creation. And speaking of connecting and creating a conversation, also leave a review on my show with your new show, and I will make sure and shout out your show as well. And definitely check out all the ways that I spotlight and feature and connect with creators on my show and collaborations as well. So let's create it. If you are looking for an incredible program on a monthly basis that combines everything you need to create and scale a life and business you love, you are going to love what I created with Subkit on a monthly basis. But first, if you're tuning in for the first time, I want you to know a little bit more about me. And you can find the link in the show notes as well on Subkit and everything you want to know. So first, I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur, athlete, traveler, creator, and CEO who has transformed every area of life from the inside out since 2010 and continues to, shifting from fear to faith, self-hate to love, corporate to calling, pain to purpose, lies to love, and bondage to freedom. I've worked with 15,000 plus entrepreneurs online and live, traveled the world full-time 2020 through 2022, worked with brands like NBC, Airbnb, WeWork, Victoria's Secret, and aim to help over 1 million mission-based brands and entrepreneurs create and scale what they love with freedom. What does that mean? Imagine you having a clear roadmap and creating and scaling step by step to progress in your life with freedom, with wellness, with marketing, with business, with travel. Everything I walk through, everything that I share, everything that I've leveraged or make money from, I help you create it too. So it all matters, whether it's rising to be and doing one more thing on the hard days or working on projects like NBC Apprentice or Airbnb, it's all big and adds up. So I want to encourage you to hashtag create it now. And what does the program with Subkit look like? First, when you click the link in the show notes, create it like a boss, you will see on the second link, the monthly create it. And one of the betas that I'm running right now is an intro deal on $44 a month, which is basically less than a smoothie bowl or a trip to Starbucks per month. And you will get to create it with exclusive access and discounts, updates on the 75 plus tools every single month. That means all the tools that I'm testing, whether it's something like Subkit or the new tools that I'm 10xing my social media automatically across platforms, new creative creations that I'm beta testing and I want your feedback, an exclusive newsletter for you getting started, and updates to the 7-day online challenge that covers wellness, wealth, business, and travel. If you want a plus experience, you get all of that, plus the Create It Summit quarter, every single quarter, that includes over 50 plus courses to take an even deeper dive, plus a vision workshop to really align to your goals from the inside out, updated every single quarter, and a group session with me on a specific theme, from jumpstart to transformation to unleashing inspiration to money matters to smart social media to crazy confidence. So a brand new theme every single month, and you get access to all the replays. Then if you want a VIP experience, you can get all the above, plus guaranteed features, lives, and co-launches, one per quarter, and one-on-one sessions that I will do with my VIPs every single month. At the bottom of that page on the Create It Monthly, you will see incredible content as well, like the Subkit feature on Get to Know Me, my faith series, freebies, how to find over $500,000 daily in opportunities, global retreats, insights into my almost 2 years of full-time travel, 7 steps to build a presence online, and the Lifestyle Brand Like a Boss course coming in June, and a lot more. So can't wait to see you on the inside, and let's create it. All the chats on faith, wellness, money, marketing, business, and travel, so you create a life and business you already. Head on over to the blog, the podcast, and the freebies to jumpstart your transformation. If you're ready to dive into the online courses, the live events, or the retreat, and if you want to create with our community on an even deeper level, definitely check out our internships, our influencer collaborations, management, and brand engagement. Let's create it.